Let me know if we're cutting out. I may have to call you back on my phone. All right. In the background, we should be up and running on the live stream. I think we're. All right. Sounds good. Better players that we've seen besides Caitlin O'Brien for the Indians is Nina Taylor for Parsons, a very good basketball player for them, and it was a hard-fought game. Probably the best game overall the Indians has put together.
In here and did, took care of business themselves, and here they find themselves once again back-to-back years now in the championship game of this Lady Lancer Classic.
So Lady Indians are going to try to close things out against a very good Pierce City team here tonight. Pierce City got around Jayhawk Lynn last night to move to this championship game too. The Indian boys come out with a nice victory earlier today at 2:30. They beat Southeast, ended up beating them by 20-plus points. So a very good game put together by the Indian boys, something to build off of. Not really playing that well up until today. Had a tough game against the opening round against Parsons, then again against Columbus yesterday, but playing a lot better today. Shot the ball just lots better today, shooting almost 50% for the field for the game. You're going to win a lot of ball games. You shoot that well. When it was in the 20% range, the two road games left. So a good schedule for the Indians coming down the stretch, as well as sub-states at home too. But here, I want to thank everybody for listening to our Richie's Pharmacy pregame show here in the championship game of the of the Lancer midseason tournament, where St. Paul Indian girls are going to take over on Pierce City. Mike, what do you look for tonight?
Well, I look for Pierce City to come in here. They bowled themselves, and so this ought to be a pretty good championship ball game for this tournament. Pierce City comes in here playing, really well. They have all week long with the days off and the weather problems that we had early in the week. All the teams have been crunched up on time a little bit, and the organizers done a really good job of rescheduling some games and trying to get everyone in here as much as they could without, back-to-back things like that. So Lady Indians had a day off in between games, the first round, I should say, and here they are back now after playing yesterday. They're going to have to play again today, but the same holds true for Pierce City, so it should be a pretty well evenly matched game. I think both teams come into the game evenly matched. It'll be a good matchup with Caitlin O'Brien in the middle. Looks like Pierce City has some size on their team down here as they warm up, or we're watching them warm up. Got some shooters from the outside, but also got some girls playing on the inside that may be a good matchup for Caitlin O'Brien and Emily Winter down underneath. That'll be one of the things we'll watch for. The other thing we'll watch for is the ball handling and the ability of St. Paul to avoid the turnovers and mental mistakes, which once in a while, if they just get out of sync a little bit, they've had some issues with that. They'll get ahead of themselves a little bit, bringing the ball down on the fast break. However, they do rely a lot on the strength and defense, and have all season. So I think that's going to be one of the challenges for Pierce City, is to come up with an answer for that difficult and tough St. Paul man-to-man defense that they run.
I'm not sure what kind of matchup it will be for the Indians. It's going to be a difficult one, but I can tell you right now that the roster for the City is going to be a difficult one for old Mr. Vick calling the game, because they got some last names.
That's right.
Holy cow.
Well, that'll be fun for everyone, including me, to listen to.
Yeah, I bet it will. About 1:43 until the Styles Fitness and More tip-off. We're going to take a break here before the tip-off. When we come back from this 1-minute break, we'll go over starting lineup for each team and get you set for the Styles Fitness and More tip-off. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Indian Basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to the championship round of the Lancer Classic, where tonight our St. Paul Indians are going to take on the Pierce City Eagles here in this championship game as we get set to go over starting lineups. And a nice crowd on hand for St. Paul. Actually, both teams, especially St. Paul, on the opposing side away from us. Just a good stands, 2/3 full. Number 11, Taylor Watrick, the sophomore, gets a start. Number 2, Blenzer, the 5'2" senior, gets a start for Pierce City. Another sophomore, Emily Hutcherson, gets a start for the Indians. And for Pierce City, number 3, Stricker, the 5'3" senior, gets a start for the Eagles. Number 15, Sydney Rice, coming off a good game, got a little foul trouble against Parsons. Coming off a real nice game. Number 15, Hayward, a 5'9" junior for the Eagles. For St. Paul, the senior leader, one of the senior leaders, Caitlin O'Brien. And senior number 21, Drawlinger, the 5'10" senior. And last but not least, the other senior, Emily Winter. And for Pierce City, number 32, Jones, a 5'7" freshman, gets the start for Pierce City as we get set for tonight's Styles Fitness and More tip-off. As each team out in the court getting set for this tip-off. Look for a good matchup here. Let's see how good a start the Indians can get off to. The girls on this tournament that's pushed back had played Wednesday, Friday, and now Saturday. So back-to-back games for both teams. We'll see if conditioning is, to be honest with you, it's about 83 degrees in this gym.
It's pretty warm in here. The warm weather outside warmed it up in here too.
And stuff. So we'll see if conditioning becomes a factor on these back-to-back and this condensed schedule for this Lancer tournament because of the weather earlier in the week. Their freshman for the Eagles is going to jump center against Caitlin O'Brien for the Indians. It tips in the air, controlled by the Lady Indians. Hutcherson gets it back to Rice. And it looks like Pierce City's going to start into a zone on defense, 2-3 zone. Same zone that the Indians faced against Parsons to start the game last night. So see if the Indians can be effective against this zone. Rice with the basketball at the free throw line, out to Hutcherson, over to Watrick at right wing, inside to Rice, and it's going to be a foul on the Eagles on Hayward, the junior, jumping into the pass lane but making too much contact. First team foul on the Eagles, first on Hayward, as Hutcherson set to put the ball in. No, excuse me, that's Watrick set to put the ball in play for the Indians, gets it into Rice, dribbles up to the right wing, lob inside to O'Brien. O'Brien double teamed down in there, and she throws it. It's going to be out on the Indians. So it's going to be a turnover on the Indians. It'll go to the Eagles. Blenzer with the basketball for Pierce City. 27-23 left to go in the first. Just underway here. No score. Pierce City into the lane. Kicks it back out to Blenzer. Blenzer at left wing. Holds the basketball. Dribbles against Watrick. To right, to her left. Kicks it out top now into the lanes. Number 21. Shot on the way. No good. Hayward with the rebound. And it goes in between Hutcherson's legs and out of bounds. So to stay with the Eagles.
Pierce City trying to get some penetration against that man defense of St. Paul.
Jolinger with the ball, gets it in to Blenzer. Man-to-man defense applied by the Indians, no secret there. Hayward with the basketball. Out to Stricker. Back out to Bollinger. To Stricker at right wing, guarded by Rice. Cross-court pass, tipped away by Winter and stolen as she comes under control. Stops up by the timeline. She's going to be triple teamed out there. Needs some help, and it's going to be a turnover against her as Blitzer ends up with it. Trapping defense. Now Rice almost with a steal. Stays with Pierce City into Hayward in front of the lane. Shot up and good by Hayward.
Hayward's going to be tough underneath that basket. She's pretty strong under there.
Rice with the basketball. They're letting a little contact go here. One foul in the game on the Eagles. Too much time. That Lady Indians been way too complacent against this trap, and they get a 10-second call. Do not get it across half court. Way too complacent against that trap. Going to have to be more aggressive against that trap defense. So Pierce City are going to continue on with that trap as long as it works. The freshman, Jones, with the basketball, feeds it off to Hayward. Will act like she's going to take a three. Pull back now. Three from the top of the key off the backboard. Way too strong. No good. And it's going to be a foul on the Eagles. That appears to be on Jones. Second team foul. First on Jones. Nope, excuse me. It's on third. Yeah, it is on Jones. Second team foul. First on her. Full court pressure applied by the Eagles. Hutcherson with the basketball. Gets it back to Rice. Rice over to Watrick. Watrick down to O'Brien. O'Brien with a ball fake. A lot of contact. Finally gets the call. That's the second on Jones. Going to bring her out of the game. It's going to bring Tyndall into the game, the 5'6" freshman. Third team foul on the Eagles. Second on Jones as she has to come out of the game early on. 2-0. Eagles lead. Watrick with the basketball. Looking inside. Finally gets it into Winter. Winter out to Rice. Rice with the ball fake into the lane. Tough shot, and it's going to be she's going to be fouled as she goes to the basket. She's going to go to the line to shoot two. That's going to be on Drollinger. 5'10" senior. Her first. Team foul number 4 on the Eagles. Rice at the free throw line. First is on the way and right through there and good. 2-1. Eagles up by 1. Rice settles in for her second. It's on its way and in and out, no good. Rebound Hayward for the Eagles. Blinzer with the basketball for the Eagles, guarded out there by Watrick. 2-1. Eagles up by 1. 5:17 left to go here in the first. Over to the quarter to Drollinger. Hayward, three-point shot, top of the key, off, no good, too strong. Rebound, Eagles. Out to Drollinger, three-point shot at her right wing, no good. Rebound, Rice. Rice pushes the ball up the floor for the Indians, crosses over into the lane, kicks it out. Three-point shot by O'Brien, and she travels as she tries to get the jump stop. So turnover again on the Indians. The Indians need to settle down here and cut down on the turnovers. Blinzer with the basketball. Takes her time, crossing half court. Picked up at the timeline by Watrick. 4:45 left to go here in the first. Eagles up by 1, 2-1. Lob inside to Hayward. She's going to be fouled underneath by Watrick. No, that's not Hayward. Excuse me. Foul was against Tyndall, but it's still going to be on Watrick. Team foul number 1 for the Indians. First on Watrick.
I think Watrick just couldn't get out of the way that time more than anything.
Eagles ball under their own basket. Lob up over top to Hayward. Drives towards the elbow. Kicks outside. Three-point shot on the way. Boy, they're not scared to shoot that three. Rebound, Eagles. Indians not doing a very good job blocking out, giving them too many chances. Hayward on the block, and she scores. 4-1. Hayward with all 4 of the Eagles' points. Rice, as they clear out, as Rice crosses over, lobs it over to Hutcherson. Feed back up top to O'Brien. Now over to Watrick. Watrick with a ball fake, drives towards the baseline, kicks up top, tipped, almost stolen. Three-point shot by Rice, off, no good, tipped around, controlled by Hutcherson. Hutcherson tries to feed it to Winter, and it's going to be off her foot and goes back to the Eagles as Coombs and McCracken check in for the Lady Indians for Winter and Hutcherson.
I'd like to see St. Paul be a little more aggressive against that press. Like you said earlier, you're going to have to get the ball down the court.
4-1. Eagles up by 3 with possession of the ball. Blinzer with the basketball for the Eagles as she walks the ball up the court. Picked up there by Watrick up above the timeline. Eagles up by 3, 4-1. Free throw line is Strickler. Shot on its way in front, off the rim, no good. Hayward with the rebound, put back, no good. Rebound fought for underneath, controlled by Coombs. Kicks it out to Rice. Rice crosses half court, kicks it off to O'Brien. O'Brien drives towards the lane, spins in the middle, layup, no good. She ends up on the floor. It's going to stay with St. Paul as it's out on the Eagles. Good spin move by Caitlin O'Brien, just couldn't quite get it to go. And it's off the Eagles. 3:22 left to go in the first, 4-1. Eagles up by 3. Lob up top to O'Brien on the inbounds. Now over to Rice. Rice tries to feed it inside to O'Brien. Gets it into her. Shot on the way. Good. Good hands by O'Brien to reel that in and get it to go. 4-3. Eagles up by 1. Blenzer with the ball. Walks it up the court. 3:05 left. 4-3. Eagles lead by 1. Hutcherson and Winter right back to the scores table for the Indians. Hayward with the basketball. Gets it tipped by Rice. Almost a steal. Back to Blenzer. Now up top and around the horn and into Hayward. Coombs is on her. She spins to the middle. Feeds it back to Strickler. And it's going to be tipped away and stolen by the Indians. Feed ahead to Rice. Rice behind the back dribble. Crosses the timeline to the right wing to McCracken. McCracken left wing over to Watrick. Watrick into the lane. Bounce pass into O'Brien. Shot up and good. Good shot on the block from Caitlin O'Brien. 5-4. Indians up by 1. Blitzer right back down with the basketball. Crosses over into the lane. Kicks it out to Hayward. Hayward bounce pass inside. A lot of contact. No foul called. All the way Jones to the basket. And it's going to be a charge on number 21, Drollinger, as she initiated all the contact. 5th foul, 15 foul, 2nd on Drollinger. St. Paul basketball, full-court press applied by the Eagles. Number 31, I think, comes to the scores table. Hutcherson, and it's a steal by Hayward. A bad pass by Hutcherson. Gets it back to the Eagles on the turnover. Drollinger with the ball. Up top to Blenzer. 1:50 left to go here in the first quarter. Indians up by 1, 5-4. Now down to the corner to Tyndall. Tyndall guarded closely by Winter. It's going to be a foul on Winter. 2nd team foul on the Indians. 1st on Emily Winter. As number 30 checks in the game, Eck, the 5'9 junior for the Eagles. She's in there for number 21. Drollinger, who's picked up her 2nd foul. Blenzer with the ball against Watrick. Gets around her. Feeds it up top to Hayward. Hayward drives towards the elbow. Back up top to Blenzer. Blenzer into Hayward right in front of the rim. Shot is short. Rebound Eagles. Put back good by Blenzer. The Eagles really crashing the boards on offense. Out rebounding Indians so far. Back to Watrick. Down to Winter. Up top to Watrick. To McCracken. McCracken at left wing. Looks at Hutcherson. Gets her on the back cut. Into the lane. Now nice pass into Winter. Shot partially blocked. Winter in traffic. Gets it to go. Good. Hard move by Winter. On the up and under. 7-6. Indians up by 1.
Winter did all the work herself on that play.
Blenzer right back down above the timeline. Picked up by Watrick. Less than a minute left to go in the first. Indians up by 1. 7-6. Good ball game here, folks. It's going to be a good defensive battle. No easy shots. Pierce City, a very good matchup for the Indians here. Blenzer with the ball, kicks it out the left wing to Hayward. Hayward's played the entire way so far. Up top to Tyndall. Tyndall right wing to Blenzer. Lob inside, and that's going to be a foul on Coombs coming over the top of Hayward, the 5'9 junior. First foul on Coombs, 3rd team foul on the Indians as Rice and O'Brien check right back in. Games in this gym all day long on a warm day outside, and it is warm in here, so we'll see if back-to-back games conditioning becomes a problem. Up top to Hayward. Hayward against Winter. Right wing over to Eck. Now back up top to Blenzer. 18 seconds. Going to go for the last shot here. 15 seconds for the Eagles in the first. Inside to Hayward. Spin move. Shot up and good.
Hayward's tough to stop underneath the basket there.
7 seconds left. Rice with the basketball. Crosses half court. 4 seconds. She drives. Three-pointer at the buzzer is no good. So at the end of one, Pierce City leads by 1, 8-7. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. welcome back. That timeout brought to you by St. Paul's Supermarket. At the end of the first quarter, the Eagles lead 8-7 over the Lady Indians. Pierce City will start with possession of the ball. Start this second quarter. Blenzer with the ball for the Eagles. Kicks it out the wing. Strickler. Now lob inside. Tip. Ball's on the floor. Eck comes up with it. Now feed inside to Blenzer. Kick out to Hayward. Three-point shot by her. Good. 11-7. Eagles up by 4. Feed back to O'Brien. Need to get it across, as she does. Now she kicks it. It's a turnover on the Eagles. Blenzer with the ball coming down the lane. Now she rolls to the outside, the right wing. Crosses over against Hutcherson down the baseline. It's going to be offensive foul. It's going to be a moving screen on number 10, Tyndall, the freshman. 11-7. Eagles up by 4. 7:14 left to go before half. Just underway here in the second quarter. As Rice with the basketball feeds it to Hutcherson.
Got to go.
Hutcherson to Rice, to McCracken. She crosses half-court timeline. Now bad pass, but Rice chases it down. Feeds it to Hutcherson at left wing, up top to McCracken. McCracken over to O'Brien. Feed inside to Winter. Tipped out of bounds by her. So another turnover on the Indians. Gives it back to the Eagles. The Indians trying to force it inside, and it's off of Winter. She can't handle the pass from O'Brien. 6:48 left to go at half. Indians trail by 4 as Wadrick and Coombs comes back to scores table for the Lady Indians. Left wing to Strickler. Strickler lob inside to Hayward. Somehow she comes out of there with it, and she's going to walk with the basketball. Good defense on the double team by the Indians. Hayward, leading scorer for the Eagles by far so far in this game. 7 of their 11, I believe, at least. Rice with the basketball against this trap and defense. She goes all the way in, kicks it out to Hutcherson. Couple ball fakes by her, up top to Wadrick. Aggressive zone trap defense by the Eagles. Bounce pass up time to O'Brien. Now feed into Hutcherson. She drives into the rim. Shot up short, no good. Coombs with the rebound. Put back, no good. The ball is loose, and now there's a whistle. And that's going to be on St. Paul. Coombs with the putback. I'm not sure how she fouled on the putback. Either way, she must have. Second on her. Fourth team foul on the Lady Indians. Gives it back to the Eagles with 6:06 left to go before half. 4-point lead for the Eagles. Blenzer brings the ball across half court. Picked up out there by Rice. Dribbles to her left, hands off. And that's going to be Hutcherson with the 5th foul for the Indians, 15 foul. As she tried to cut off Strickler. First on Emily Hutch. 16 fouls on the Eagles, 5 on the Indians. Eck feeds the ball into Blenzer, up above the timeline. Blenzer crosses over at the left elbow, hands it off to Strickler. Feed inside to Hayward, into traffic in there. Shot from the baseline on its way and good. Up and through there by the young freshman, or junior, Eck. Rice with the ball, feeds it up to Wadrick. 13-7, 5-point lead for the Eagles. Or 6-point lead for the Eagles. Wadrick with the basketball. Feeds it to the corner to O'Brien. O'Brien into Winter. Winter in traffic. Goes to the block, and they're going to call her for a walk. I'm not sure about that, as she split the defender. Still had her pivot foot on the ground. She gets called for the travel, so another turnover on the Indians. Goes back to the Indians. Or goes back to the Eagles. Eagles lead 13-7. 5 minutes left to go here before half, and they have possession of the ball. Indians need to cause some turnovers of their own. Double screen on top. Gets to Hayward. 3. I thought Eck was going to shoot the 3. Now 3 on the way. Off the rim. No good. Wadrick with the rebound. She pushes the ball up the floor. She's in traffic. Bounce pass to Hutcherson. Hutcherson shot. Good. From the baseline, a little 7-footer. 13-9. Eagles up by 4. Right back down come Blenzer. for the Eagles. Rice cuts her off. She dribbles up above the timeline now. Now to her left. Into the lane. Into Hayward. Hayward converts from the block. Rice with the basketball. 4:15 left to go before half. 15-9, 6-point lead for the Eagles. Up to Hutcherson. Over to Winter. Winter fakes a three. Up top to Hutcherson. Over to Rice. Rice guarded closely out there. Goes in. Shot on the way. And it's going to be a foul on the floor. It's going to send Rice to the line. Shoot the front end of 1-1. 17 foul on the on the Eagles. First on number 3, Strickler. Rice settles in for the front end of the 1-1. It's on its way and off. No good. Fought for underneath and controlled by Blenzer for the Eagles. Indians pick up their men. Blenzer with the basketball guarded by Rice. 6-point lead for the Eagles. They look to try to expand that. 3:41 left to go here before half. Lob over in the corner to Eck. Eck, 15-footer off, no good. Rebound, Caitlin O'Brien. Bumped, but no call. And there's a reach, and that's going to be a foul on Strickler. That's going to be her second. That's going to send O'Brien to the line to shoot the front end of 1-1. 8th team foul on the Eagles, second on Strickler. As Drollinger's going to check back in, she also has 2 fouls. O'Brien settles in for the front end of the 1-1. Indians trail 15-9. First free throw on its way and right through there and good. Indians trail by 5. 3:29 left to go here in the first half. O'Brien's second shot on its way and rattles in good. Blenzer with the basketball for the Eagles. She's played the entire way as well as Hayward. And I believe Tyndall hasn't come out of the game either for the Eagles. Well, Drollinger has because she has 2 fouls. Now poked away by Wattrick, but out on her, so it'll stay with the Eagles. 11-15, Indians trail by 4. 3 minutes left to go here in the first half. Feed into Blenzer. She's guarded by Rice. Blenzer with it, feeds it inside to Hayward. Hayward in front of the rim, good.
Gonna have to find an answer for Hayward underneath there.
And lazy pass by Rice into Wattrick, and it's turnover on the Indians. Gives it right back to the Eagles. That was just a lazy pass inbounds from Sydney Rice into Wattrick. And with a 6-point lead, the Eagles have a chance to expand on that with 2:47 left to go here in the first. Feed up top to Hayward. Hayward, the Indians are going to have an answer for her because she is in double digits in scoring by far. They're going to have some help down in the lane as they clear things out and try to get her one-on-one. She's really leaning on, and it's going to be a travel up top on the Eagles. Turns it back over. Hayward really leaning on Winter. Winter got her hands full, trying to keep her from getting too deep down in the lane.
Hayward has 13 of the 17 points for the Eagles.
Feed into Wattrick. Now back to Rice. 2:32 left to go in the first half. They clear out. Rice brings the ball down across half court. Spins away, gives it to McCracken. McCracken cross-court pass to O'Brien. O'Brien ball fake, drives the baseline, feeds it to Winter. Winter out to Wattrick. 3-pointer on the way by her. Banks her home. That counts in the scorebook.
It sure does. We'll take it.
17-14. Eagles up by 3. Blenzer with the basketball. Picked up out there by Rice. Now they clear everything out as they're going to try to get Hayward in on the post again. Blenzer, they swing it around the outside to Eck. Eck up to Hayward. Hayward ball fight, drives in, cut off by Winter. And gets it back to Blenzer. Rice cuts her off. 1:42 left to go here in the first half. 17-14, Eagles up by 3. Eck with the basketball, left wing. Up top, Drollinger, three-pointer, but she's going to travel. She missed a shot anyway, but it travels. She tried to get her feet set by the 5'10 senior. So turnover on the Eagles. The Indians get a chance to cut into this Eagle three-point lead. Eagle with the man-to-man full court press. Watrick with the basketball. She brings it across to Eck, feeds it to O'Brien. McCracken ends up on the ground, feeds it up top to Rice. Long three-pointer, top the key, in and out, no good. Hayward with the rebound for the Eagles. Feds ahead to Blenzer. Blenzer into the lane, shot up, and she's going to get the call and make the bucket. So she goes, tries to complete the three-point play. Indians unable to stop her on the penetration dribble, and right back up to a 5-point lead. And
that was on Emily Winter, her second.
Jones checks in for Hayward, her first break of the game. Shot on its way and off, no good. Rebound, O'Brien. Watrick with it. Crosses over, up the timeline, feeds it to McCracken at the right wing. Up top to O'Brien, 19-14, 5-point lead for the Eagles. Back to McCracken. Now up top to Watrick. 54 seconds left to go in the first half. Now in O'Brien. Turnaround, tough shot. She gets it to go. And she was contested by Drollinger, who has 2 fouls, but she was right in her face. Got her with the body a little bit. 40 seconds left, 3-point game. Eagles up by 3. See what the Eagles can do with Hayward on the bench. Blenzer with the ball. Cross-court pass over to Jones. Back up to Blenzer. Blenzer dribbles against Rice, 22 seconds left, dribbles to her right, hands off, and lost out of bounds. Thought that was off Drollinger, but apparently it was off the Indians. 16.5 seconds left to go here in the first half. Blenzer with the ball for the Eagles. Rice is on her, crosses over into the lane, dribbles back out, 6 seconds left. Somebody needs to get on Drollinger. She drives into elbow, kicks it out. 1 second, three-pointer on the way, no good at the buzzer. Eagles up by 3 at halftime. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show, where the Eagles lead the Indians by 3, 19-16 here at halftime. In a good first half put together by both teams. Going to be a good matchup. Got a good game here to watch. as it is a defensive battle on each end of the court. Hayward's a handful for the Eagles, for the Indians to handle. We'll see what kind of adjustments we make here at halftime. The Indians are going to be stuck in that man-to-man defense, and a kind of an extended man-to-man zone defense, extended zone defense, 2-3 zone defense applied by the Eagles. Very athletic, very quick to the ball. So the Indians going to have to move the basketball around, try to get some good looks at the basket, hit some shots. Indians shooting pretty well from 50% from the field. Nothing wrong with that, but they have 9 turnovers in the first half, which is going to have to clean that up. And they're going to have to do a little better job on the boards. They're giving the Eagles too many offensive rebounds so far in this first half.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, you could tell a definite change in the way things were working for Pierce City when Hayward wasn't on the floor, which she was on the floor most of the first half, but there towards the end of the second quarter, she came off for a little bit of a break, and you could tell a difference in the flow of their offense and definitely see that she's the key. And it's also obvious by the scoring that she did in the first half that they rely on her heavily for the offensive side of things, on the turnovers. And
this 2-minute time. Welcome back to the Lancer Classic in his championship game where the Lady Indians trail by 3 at halftime, 19-16, and a good ball game here against Pierce City. A good matchup for both teams. Seems like it's going to be a nice matchup all the way through. We'll see what the Indians, how they can respond. Mike, what do you got for first half stats here at halftime?
Well, for St. Paul, they were led by Caitlin O'Brien, who had 8 points in the first half. She was 3 for 4 from the field and also perfect 2 for 2 from the free throw line. 8 points for Caitlin. Taylor Watrick was the next high scorer for St. Paul. She had 3, and her 3 came from her 1 for 1 from outside the three-point arc. So shooting from outside, Taylor Watrick just did it once, but she was good at it and made the basket. Emily Winter had 2 points, as so did Emily Hutcherson, and Sydney Rice with 1 point for St. Paul in the first half. For Pierce City, Hayward was the big story. Talked about her before the break. 13 of their 19 points in the first half. She had 5 of 7 from inside and 1 of 2. She shot a three-pointer from outside, showing that she's not only a threat underneath the basket, she can step out and take one from outside as well. The turnover department, St. Paul actually turned the ball over 10 times in the first half compared to 5 for Pierce City. Coach Tuck cannot be happy with that number, and it's really something that they're going to have to take care of and clean up in the second half if they hope to get back and take advantage of what they can in the second half. 3-point deficit here at halftime, not something they can't overcome. But, Pierce City's not going to let up. And with Hayward back in the game, I'm sure after halftime things aren't going to get any easier. So they got a lot of work to do, but I think they can get it done if they can just clean up some of the mistakes and cut down on the turnovers there in the second half.
Thanks, Mike, for that halftime stats. Our halftime is brought to you by St. Paul Tire and Lube. Timeout's been brought to you by St. Paul's Supermarket. After this last 2-minute timeout, we'll go over the keys of the second half. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout with St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. welcome back to the Lancer Classic. Lady Indians trail 19-16 here at halftime. Thank everybody for listening to our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. Our title sponsor is Farmers Bank. Our pregame sponsor is Richie's Pharmacy. And our second half tip-off will be brought to you by Styles Fitness and more. And it will be St. Paul basketball to start this second half, as there is 8 minutes on the clock and we're getting set to get underway. For the Indians, it's going to be Wattrick, Hutcherson, Winter, O'Brien, and Rice on the floor for the Lady Indians. Same zone applied by the Eagles. Wattrick with the ball up top over to Rice. Wattrick up top over to Hutcherson, left wing now. Back up top to Rice. The Indians speed up as the ball moved around the outside perimeter. Now to Winter. Out to Wattrick, open for a three. Takes it off the back iron, just off. Looked good. And Eagles come down to rebound. Blinzer with the basketball up above the timeline, guarded by Rice. Over to Drollinger. Feed inside, bad pass by the Eagles, right to Rice, as that pass was made by Jones. Rice brings it down against Trickler. Feeds it over to Wattrick at left wing. Holds the ball over her head. Drives in, kicks it out to Hutcherson. Ball fake by her. Lob inside to Winter. Winter with the ball fake, gets around Hayward, loses it, gets it stripped away. Back down the floor comes Blinzer. Into the lane, all the way up. Shot up, no good. Rebound, Eagles. Put back, good. No rebounding by the Indians. Second chance opportunities. Did a good job. Now Wattrick with the ball. Feeds it ahead. Now turnover. Bad pass by Wattrick. Gives it right back to the Eagles. They're up by 5 with possession of the basketball. Blinzer up top with the basketball. Ball fake. Drives against Hutcherson. Kicks to Hayward. Back up to Blinzer. Blinzer holds the ball over her head. Dribbles to her left now. Hands it off to Drollinger. Drollinger up. Bounce pass inside to Hayward. Now kick out. Three-point shot on the way. Off. High off. Rebound Hayward. Now Hutcherson comes down with it. She's double teamed in the corner. Now triple teamed. Now she feeds it ahead. Here comes Caitlin O'Brien, one-on-one opportunity. Euro step, gets around her, shot up, no good, but it's a block. She's going to go line and shoot two. And the Eagles do not like that call. As the Eagles, I'm telling you, what it was as the Euro step around, Leslie Jones' leg got into O'Brien, tripped her up. That could have been a good no call, but either way, it sends O'Brien to the line to shoot two.
Third foul on Jones.
Jones with a third. First on the Eagles here in the second half. Good aggressive play by Caitlin O'Brien. It was going to be one-on-one as Jones was back on defense. Good looking 5'7" freshman is Jones. Picks up her third, so she stays in the game for now. O'Brien's second shot on its way off. No good. Chased down by the Eagles. Blinzer with the basketball. 4-point ball game. 21-17, Eagles up by 4. Drollinger out to Hayward, guarded by O'Brien now. Halftime adjustment was they put O'Brien on Hayward. Not a bad move. O'Brien, I don't think, has any fouls yet. Drive inside to Blinzer. Now bounce pass, shot by Jones, good. 6-point ball game, feed back to O'Brien. Now up to McCracken, feed ahead to Hutcherson. Hutcherson with a ball fake, cross-court pass to O'Brien. 23-17, Eagles up by 6, match your biggest lead of the game. Wattrick with the ball at right wing, holds the ball over her head. Ball fake, feeds it up to Winter. Winter reverses it back to Wattrick. Now they set it up at the top of the key. Feed over to Hutcherson at right wing. McCracken down to the corner to Wattrick. Now to O'Brien, sets her feet, ball fake. She's going to call for the walk. As she give the ball fake and try to drive to the basket. 4:57 left to go in the third. 23-17, Eagles up by 6. Drollinger with the basketball for the Eagles. One team foul on the Eagles, none on the Indians yet in this half. Second chance points has been the difference in this game, and turnovers on the Indians. Inside to Jones, layup good, but she got around Winter. Wattrick with the basketball, biggest lead of the game for the Eagles, up by 8. Now timeout by Coach Tuck, and that's going to be a full timeout. We're going to take a 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back here as the Indians trail by 8, 25-17. Feed back into Hutcherson, now to Watrick. Now to O'Brien, back up top to Watrick. Feeds it to McCracken. McCracken down to the corner, tipped up in the air. Now O'Brien comes down with it. Now Watrick into the lane, free throw line. Shot on its way, no good. Hayward with the rebound for the Eagles. Blenzer right back down for the Eagles with the basketball, trying to add on to this 8-point lead. Feed down to the baseline. Coombs in the game now for Winter. Blenzer, that's a push off with Blenzer. She gets away with, back up top to Hayward. Hayward trying to get rid of it, finally does. Feeds it back to Blenzer. Blenzer up top to Jones, now over to Drollinger. Lob inside to Hayward, shot up, off the rim, no good, gets her own rebound, and she's going to be fouled. And she's going to go to the line to shoot two. It's the same thing I continue to say, too many offensive rebounds, too many opportunities for the Eagles. The Indians can't trail by too much in this game, too competitive, haven't scored in this half. First shot by Hayward off, no good. They're going to have to make a run here, try to climb back in this game. Eagles too good defensively to get too far behind in this game. 25-17, Eagles up by 8 as Hayward goes to the line to try to make it 9. She does, 9-point lead for the Eagles, biggest lead they've had, and here comes the pressure again. Just one team foul on each team, and we're over halfway through this third quarter. Rice back in the game for the Indians. Now O'Brien feeds it ahead to Winter. Winter guarded closely out there. Feeds it back to O'Brien. McCracken at left wing with the basketball. Loses it for a minute. Gets it back to Rice. Rice been held pretty quiet tonight too. Now Rice, the basketball, steps in between two players. Short, gets her own rebound. Put back, long, too hard. Winter with the rebound. Put back, no good, but she's fouled. So good work on the offensive boards that time by the Lady Indians. And that's going to send Winter to the line to shoot two. Indians trail by 9. Only shot 60% from the free throw line in the first half, so they need to clean that up also as Winter makes her first.
That foul's on Hayward. That's her second.
Second team foul on the Eagles, second on Hayward. Winter shot right through there. Coach Tuck encouraging the defense to pick up the pressure a little bit. 26-19, 7-point lead for the Eagles. Blenzer with the ball up above the timeline, guarded out there by Rice. She's good at sticking that arm out there, making her a little bit of room. We'll see if eventually they call that, and that's going to be blocked. That's going to be on McCracken. Second team foul on the Indians. First on McCracken. Eagles basketball, feeds it up top to Blenzer. Blenzer to the corner to Drollinger. Drollinger giving a little room. She feeds it back to Blenzer. I'd like to see Rice crawl back up on her a little bit, make her see if they can get a push off as she just holds it in the corner. 2:31 left to go here in the third. Blenzer with the ball, rotates all the way around. Tough shot, up, no good. That's going to be an over the back on Jones, her fourth. She just picked up her fourth foul. They elected to leave her in the game, and she's picked up her fourth on an over the back. That's going to bring Tyndall back into the game, the 5'6" freshman. So freshman for freshman. So Pierce City with 3 freshmen on the squad and all good ball players. Hutcherson comes down to the corner, gets around Blenzer. Now she's trapped in the corner, gets it up top to Winter above the timeline, feeds it to Rice. 7-point lead for the Eagles. The Indians with offensive possession has a chance to cut into that lead. McCracken, 3-point shot, top of the key, way off. Hayward with the rebound. Blenzer brings it back down for the Eagles. Up above the timeline. 148 left to go here in the third quarter. Eagles up by 7. Drollinger lob inside, and that's going to be a push on O'Brien on Hayward. They want somebody to come on the double team on the weak side help as they're cleaning it out for Hayward against O'Brien.
That was on Sydney McCracken.
Second foul on McCracken. Third team foul on the Indians. Blenzer looks to get the ball inbounds. Count is on. She finally does get it into Strickler. Back to Blenzer. Blenzer dribbles against Rice. Feeds it off to the left wing. Is Drollinger, cut off by Watrick. 1:24 left to go in the third. Blenzer down the baseline. Could have stepped out of bounds. Shot on the way by Hayward. Off. Watrick with the rebound. She pushes it up against, down the corner to McCracken. McCracken dribbles to her left, reverses it down to the corner to Watrick. Watrick up towards the top of the key. 1 minute left to go in the third. Indians still have a chance to get in this 7-point lead. Gets it back to McCracken at right wing. Here comes the pressure. McCracken gets it poked away by Drollinger. Now gets it back. Now feeds it to O'Brien at left wing. Wasn't intended for her, but she ends up with it. Spin move in the middle by O'Brien. Shot on the way, too strong. Chasing it around, and Blenzer comes down with it. 1-on-1, McCracken back on defense, and that's going to be a foul. As Blenzer gets it to go somehow, and she's fouled, and she'll go to the line and try to complete 3-point play. 28-19, back up to a 9-point lead. Blenzer tries to make it 10. Shot on its way in there. 10-point lead for the Eagles. 37 seconds left to go in the third. Hutcherson comes in for McCracken, who's just picked up her third. Rice with the basketball. Feeds it to Watrick. Watrick back to O'Brien. Now down to Winter. Into O'Brien at the free throw line. Gets around one. Hayward with the foul. It's going to be her third, and O'Brien's going to go to the line to shoot 2. I believe that's Hayward's third, and it is. 4th team foul on the Eagles. So O'Brien goes to the line to shoot 2 with 22.9 seconds left to go here in the third. First shot on its way. In and out. No good. Can't afford to miss any free throws, as O'Brien settles in for her second. On its way and gets the roll, and it goes in. 22.9 left to go in the third. 29-20. The Eagles up by 9. 3-point lead at halftime has grown to a 9-point lead in the third quarter. So the Indians not getting much going. Just 3 points in this third quarter for the Indians. Feed inside to Hayward. Shot in front of the rim. Short. Fought for. Caitlin O'Brien comes down with it. Feeds it ahead to Watrick. Watrick on the breakaway. He's got a chance. Good at the buzzer. As she streaks down the floor. And the reason I didn't say much because it passed around that rim about 5 times as the buzzer went off. So back to a 7-point lead for the Eagles after 3 quarters. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Lancer Classic and the finals here where St. Paul trails 29-22, trail by 7 points going into this fourth quarter. The Indians going to have to put together some good defense and make a run here, make some shots on offense. The Indian girls working hard, but just a good matchup, a pretty evenly matched up team with Pierce City.
Just a good hard-fought game on both sides. Come down to mistakes.
Eagles will start with possession of the basketball to start this fourth quarter. The Indians got to pick up some pressure here. 14 fouls on the Indians, 4 on the Eagles. Over to the left wing, Drollinger. Holy cow, this is something. Let me see here. Yeah, Strickler with the basketball. Gets it poked away by Watrick, but it's going to be a foul on her. 15 foul on the Indians. Second on Watrick. 7:34 left to go in the game. 7-point lead for the Eagles, 29-22. Feed it in to Blenzer. Blenzer driving in, tries to feed inside, does to Hayward. Layup good. Good feed by her. That penetration, they're going to have to stop that by Blenzer. Step in front of her and cut her off as she's made some tough shot and good passes. Back up to a 9-point lead for the Eagles. Winner feeds it up top to Rice. Rice up above the timeline over to Watrick. Watrick up top to O'Brien. 7:03, 7 minutes left to go in the game. Indians trail by 9. 3-point shot by O'Brien, well short. Blenzer with the rebound. Blenzer right down the court she comes, tries to feed it back. It's going to be a walk on her. As she tried to hand it off to Tyndall. Tyndall wasn't looking. It bounced off her. Travel call on Blenzer. So it goes back to the Indians. They really need to get something going on offense. Caitlin O'Brien, ball fake, goes to the lane, shot up, good. She bumped, but no foul, so back to a 9-point lead, or 7-point lead for the Eagles. 6:32 left to go in the ball game. Indians going to tighten up on defense here. Blenzer with the basketball against Rice. Now Drollinger. Almost throw it away. Indians need to get up on them and get that ball. Now they're going to go up above the timeline, so the Indians are going to have to extend this a little bit. Drollinger over to Strickler. Back up to Blenzer. 6 minutes to go in the game, 31-24. Now Blenzer in, kicks it out. 3-point shot by Hayward, well short. And it's going to be out on Hutcherson as Emily cannot secure the rebound. Shot was well short by Hayward. And it's out on her, so it stays with the Eagles. So here's more of them second chance opportunities for the Eagles. Blenzer feeds it in. Feed up top now to Jones. Over to Blenzer. Drives towards the lane. Cut off there. Good help defense by Winter. Drives the baseline. She's going to be a foul called on me. I thought she was going to call her for stepping out of bounds. Push on Rice. 16 foul on the Indians. First on Rice. 5:49 left to go in the game. Eagles basketball under their own rim. Next one, foul by the Indians, puts them in the bonus. Feed up top to Drollinger, now back to Blenzer. Blenzer with the basketball against Rice. Up above the timeline. Count is on now, stripped by Rice, and now it's going to be another foul on Rice. That's going to send Blenzer to front end, shoot the 1-1. Rice poked that away for an instant. Ball was on the floor, went after it, and fouled Blenzer. So the front end of 1-1. Indians got to secure a rebound. Hope Blenzer can miss a free throw here with 5:34 left in the game. 7-point lead. Shot on its way right through there. She makes her first, back up to a 8-point lead for the Eagles. Blenzer's second shot long, no good. Rebound, Winter. Winter feeds it back to Hutcherson, so 8-point lead for the Eagles. Watrick with the basketball, penetrates into the elbow, kicks it out. 3-point shot by O'Brien, in and out, no good. Rebound, Strickler. Blenzer with the ball, pushes the ball back up the floor, picked up out there by Rice. The Indians can't get a shot to fall here. trying to cut into that lead. 8-point lead for the Eagles. Opportunity to make it 10 or 11 here. Jones with the basketball, or Tyndall, excuse me. Now Hayward about loses it. Indians are going to 30-second timeout by Coach Tuck. Timeout brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. Indian with some work to do down the stretch here, Mike.
Yeah, I got a lot of work here with only 4 minutes left, and got to overcome a 6-point deficit against a tough defense, especially with Hayward out there. Hayward's still continuing to score points, but scoring's been spread out a little bit more in the second half from Pierce City, and they've been able to get some offense going. Big thing for St. Paul, they're getting one shot, and that's it, going back on defense, not getting any offensive rebounds.
They need to extend their pressure on the Eagles as they let it feed right in to the Eagles. Blenzer down with the basketball, lob inside, stolen away by Rice. Rice on the breakaway, down the right-hand side, loses for a minute, tries to go under the rim. Caitlin O'Brien on the follow, good! 4-point ball game, 32-28. 3:46 left to go in the game. 17 fouls on the Indians, 5 on the Eagles as Jones checks back in for the Eagles, comes back in with 4 fouls with 3:44 left to go in the game. Watrick on Blenzer. Just want to play good defense here. Don't necessarily have to foul. You want to be aggressive and be aggressive on the offensive rebound, get up in the passing lane. Hayward drives in, kicks it out to Blenzer. The Eagles going to be very patient here with a 4-point lead. Blenzer in and now back out, kicks it out to Jones. Now to Strickler, guarded by McCracken. Now to Hayward, 3-point shot by her, short, no good. Rice, right between her legs and out of bounds. She couldn't get a hold of it. As it looked to me, maybe it was tapped by Drollinger, but Rice had a chance at the rebound. Hayward short on the shot. 4-point lead for the Eagles with possession of the ball with 3:13 left to go in the game. Drollinger with it. Over to Jones, cross-court pass. Back up top, almost stolen by Watrick. Almost a bad pass. Now back over to Strickler, guarded by, and that's going to be a foul on Watrick.
Going to reach in there.
That's going to be Strickler's going to go to the line and shoot to 1-1. 8th team foul on the Indians, so 1-1. Third foul on Watrick. Winner and Hutcherson comes back to the scorers table as 8th team foul. 1-1 for Strickler, the 5'3" senior. Strickler settles into the line front end 1-1. It's on its way and right through there. (33-28), 5-point lead, 3 minutes to go in the game. Eagles set on for a second free throw. It's good. 6-point lead for the Eagles. Rice with the basketball for the Indians. Still full-court pressure. Just 5 team fouls on the Eagles. Watrick needed to get across half court to Winter. Down to Hutcherson. Hutcherson drives towards the baseline. Now she's in trouble. Kicks it to Winter, and it's going to be a jump ball. It's going to go to the Indians on the possession arrow. Bad pass by Hutcherson. Dribbled into the double team, then had to try to get rid of it. In traffic to Winter, and Hayward ties her up. That's off of Drollinger. It'll stay with the Indians. Indians trail by 6, 34-28. 2:43 left to go in the game. Indians going to have to make something happen here quick.
Got to get moving now.
Rice over to Watrick. Back up top to O'Brien. O'Brien over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson towards the top of the key, reverses it. 3-point shot by Rice, offline and over the backboard.
Not a good time to go cold on shooting either.
2:29 left to go in the game, 34-28. Eagles up by 6. 18 fouls on the Indians, so still in the 1-1. Blenzer with the ball up above the timeline. Now out to Hayward. Feed inside to Strickler. Strickler in the lane. Tough shot. Rebound Winner. Or no, Hutcherson. She about loses it. And she's going to be fouled by Blenzer. 16 foul. So the next foul on the Eagles puts the Indians in a 1-1. 2:05 left to go in the ball game. 34-28. Indians trail by 6. Still plenty of time in this game, but the Indians need to be aggressive on offense and try to get a score as quick as they can. Watrick feed over to Rice. Now back up top to Watrick. Not a good pass by Watrick. Two bad passes by the Indians. Rice gets it poked away by Drollinger, and she gets it back over to Hutcherson. Indians need to get something going here. Pretty ugly possession so far. Now Rice with it. Back up top to Watrick. Cut. Wouldn't hurt to call a timeout here. The Indians look all out of sorts. 1:30 left to go in the game. 6-point lead. The Indians being pretty complacent on offense. Over to Hutcherson. Hutcherson drives the baseline. Bounce pass inside to O'Brien, and she's going to be fouled and go line to shoot two.
Well, I think they were just trying to figure out a way to get the ball to Caitlin O'Brien. Couldn't get it done, so they wasted a lot of time.
You can't spend 45 seconds when you're trailed by 6 on the offensive end when there's only so many possessions in the game. What you limit yourself to is having to foul and expect somebody to miss front end of 1-1. You need 3 possessions.
Sure did.
2 for 2 possessions a minimum, 3 possessions probably to either tie or take the lead.
Yep, wasted a lot of time on that possession for sure.
Somebody needs to be an aggressor and want to go to the basket to score. O'Brien in and out on her first shot as she misses. So the Indians are in trouble here. A timeout, Eagles. And we'll go ahead and take a 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Lancer Classic. 1:23 left to go in the game. Indians trail by 6 with O'Brien to the line to shoot the second of her 2. One thing about it, Mike, the Indians not used to trailing in a ball game, and that kind of showed in that last position when you're 2 or 3 possessions behind and you're not used to trailing, not real sure what to do, and just complacent and running your offense like you're leading the game. O'Brien's shot's well short and off. A rare 2 misses for her. Hayward, double dribble, turnover.
Good break there.
Gives it back to the Indians. O'Brien with a rare 2 misses from the free throw line. The Indians not shooting well down the stretch here at all. Just 11 points in this half, 17 in the first half. So Rice with the ball, feeds it up to O'Brien. Now to the corner to Watrick. 3-point shot from the corner, long, no good. Out of bounds. It's going to be out on Winter and go back to the Eagles. 1:12 left to go in the game. Indians need to crawl up on him here, try to create a turnover, and just let him inbound it to Blenzer. I don't know why you don't deny that pass, but either way, Blenzer with the ball. Blenzer with the ball, drives towards the lane, kicks it out to Stricker. Now Rice with the steal, down on the breakaway, left-hand layup, no good. Rebound Hayward. Jump ball, change of possession goes to the Eagles. The Indians just can't buy a basket coming down the stretch. As Rice on the breakaway. They call a jump ball. It's going to go back to the Eagles. You need to deny the inbounds. Don't let Blenzer even touch the basketball, and they feed it right into Stricker. Now back to Blenzer. Nobody's even on Blenzer. Hayward with the ball. She looked like she walked. And a foul by Watrick, and that's going to be a foul on the force, and Hayward line shoot front end 1-1. 19 foul on the Indians.
4th on Taylor Watrick.
34-28, 6-point lead for the Eagles. Hayward trying to make it more as she goes line shoot front end 1-1. Hayward at the line, first one on its way, off, no good, rebound. And Hutcherson loses it out of bounds. It goes right back to the Eagles. Nothing going right for the Lady Indians here as it cannot secure a rebound, can't get a shot to fall, can't get a free throw to fall. And just
Can't get a layup to fall.
12 points here in the second half. Actually, 11 points, stuck on 11. And that's going to be a foul on Hutcherson. And that's 10th team foul, so 2-shot bonus for Drollinger with 38.4 left to go in the game. It's a hard-fought competitive game the whole way, but the Indians not playing well at all down the stretch in this second half. Just 11 points. Can't get a bucket to fall. Their shooting percentage is not going to look good, but either way, you need to learn from these, what looks to be a loss as you work into league play. Indians played one of their best games against Parsons last night, I thought. Shot well, played hard tonight. Hard-fought ball game. We knew it was going to be a hard-fought ball game. 38 seconds left, 36-28, 8-point lead. Watch. Now they come down hard, kick it out to Hutcherson. 3-point shot by her. Well short, no good. Ball's on the floor, and it's going to be a jump ball, and the possession arrow stays with the Indians. 28.6 left to go in the game. 17 fouls on the Eagles, 10 on the Indians. Hutcherson, another 3-point opportunity. Long, no good. Long rebound goes out to Drollinger. She's fouled by Rice, sent her to the line to shoot 2. Drollinger goes to the line to shoot the double bonus. First shot on its way, long, no good by Drollinger as McCracken and Coombs checks in for Rice and Winter. With 23 seconds left to go in the game. Drollinger settles in for her second. It's on its way and good. Watrick with the ball, 21 seconds down to Hutcherson. Another 3-pointer by her, off, no good. Rebound, Eagles, and another foul. And that's going to send Strickler to the line to shoot 2 as Carter comes to the scorer's table. 15.8 seconds left. The Indians are going to get handed their second loss of the season. Their first loss was an overtime loss to Galena, which was a good ball game. But quite honestly, the Indians didn't look good down the stretch here. Trailing by 6 with 2 minutes to go. And pretty ugly possession. It took 40 seconds to get a shot off when you're trailing by 2 or 3 possessions.
Yeah, played much better first half than they have here in the second.
And it's good defense applied by Pierce City, so give them credit where credit is due. They're very quick to the ball. Contest Hayward's a handful on the inside. And Blenzer, a very good ball handler, so, and it's full court pressure has caused some turnovers. 12 seconds left to go in the game. 11-point lead for Pierce City. Hutcherson into the lane and gets it stripped away by Hayward. 4 seconds left, 3, and that's going to be your ball game. And Pierce City is going to be your champions of the Lancer Classic. St. Paul Indians will come in second. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. This is St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Thank everybody for listening and watching on the live stream. And if you stick around and want to listen to the post-game show on the radio, tune in to 105.5.